I thought I would order PowerWorks, one of these test devices that have the Anderson power pole connectors, and it'll measure voltage and current and watt hours and I don't know, several other things here. And it's all in one handy device, and since I'm using mainly Anderson power poles now for my 12-volt connections, I really love those connectors. And this will come in handy here, I think, around the shack and on the test bench when I'm working on 12-volt equipment. As you can see there, it will measure amp hours, watt hours, voltage, watts, peak current, peak power, voltage, sag. So let's check it out. Alright, just to test it out here, I have a portable power station, my 12-volt power supply portable, and I do have that wired up with Anderson power poles here permanently. I use these a lot off this supply. We'll plug it in here and we'll see what we get on the display. When I first plug it in, it shows me version 2.1. When the screen first comes up, it'll give you the firmware revision number. And then we do get a display here. It's showing me 12.83 volts. And since I'm not hooked up to anything on the output, it's not showing anything for current draw or power or anything like that, but it does show me I have 12.83 volts out of my portable power pack here. These Anderson power poles, I might do another video later on those and show you some things about those, but you can't hook them up wrong, incorrectly. They'll only connect together one way. So okay, there's a close-up view, 12.83 volts. That's the display, very easy to read. And I have my MFJ HF and VHF antenna analyzer here, and I'm going to plug that in. I have that wired up here. I have a connector made up that I can power this externally, or with this portable power pack I have to save on the internal batteries. Let's plug that in here and see what we get. Okay, now on the display here, I'm showing 12.77 volts and about 0.1 amp, 100 milliamp draw on this unit, and 1.2 watts. That's what it's drawing there. And on the lower left of the screen, it switches between several other things that gives you indications of peak amps, amp hours, and that type of thing, and that keeps every 2 seconds that'll switch to something different. And I'm going to have to read up on that a little bit just to see what it's all showing me there, but looks like it's working here. Let me give you a close-up of this display. And that's with my antenna analyzer hooked up. That's what it's showing me on the display. So it sure looks like this will come in handy. It's giving me some good information, especially when I'm working on 12-volt radios and things like that, mobile radios especially. Alright, just to test it a little more here, I have a 100 ohm resistor. So if I use Ohm's law to calculate that, with 12 volts, I have actually, we'll see what the voltage is reading here, 12.8 volts, 12.7 volts right now off my supply. When I hook my resistor up, 100 ohms, I should have around 120 milliamps or so of current, a little over. My huge alligator clips here, but I have them terminated with the power pole connectors, so it was easy to hook up. Alright, I'm showing on the current draw here 0.12 amps, 120 milliamps, 12.74 volts, and about 1.5 watts. That's what I'm showing on the screen. So yeah, that calculates out fairly close there. Looks like that's showing me proper value. Alright, now do one more test here. I have a 2-meter radio, an ICOM 28A, which I've had for many years. And anyhow, it was handy to grab here. I'm going to make this into a portable unit to use with my portable power station here one of these days. I do have the Anderson connector on the back, as you can see, so I just wired it up here, plugged it into this device now, the What's Up meter, and I have the radio on. If you're watching this in high def mode, you can maybe see the display, otherwise I'll give you a close-up here in a minute. But right now I'm showing I have 12.63 volts, and the radio is drawing about 0.22 amps right now, and that is in the squelched mode when I unsquelch the radio. And as I turn the volume up, you can see where it does draw more current, which is normal. And it's showing 2.6 watts right now. Now I'll transmit with the radio, and I'm on low power, the 5-watt setting. We'll see what kind of current draw I get on low power. And I do have a dummy load hooked up, and it's showing 2.36 amp current draw on 5-watt position low power. And my voltage did drop down a little to 12.16 volts. 28.5 watts. So that looks about normal. Alright, there's the radio just sitting there in receive mode. And watch the amps on the upper left there as I key the radio up. You'll see it went up to 2.35 amps current draw. And now I unkey. I can also hook the meter in to my home power supply here, or my test bench power supply, which I have terminals here that I can easily plug into with cable I made up. That also has the Anderson connector. Amazing. Alright, so right now my home power supply here, bench supply, is showing 13.98 volts, which is right about where it should be. So I think overall this is going to come in awful handy, and probably be using it a lot in the shop here and in mobile situations, I guess. So I'll play around with it some more and we'll put it into use. Thanks for watching the video, and 73 WD0AKX.